Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. Should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? That's not meant to be like a deep sigh, like I'm an exhausted sort of sigh. It's just like I don't know. It's more like a relief sort of sigh because you know it's a weekend. I did actually try Pokemon Sleep last night. I'm a deep slumberer, unsurprisingly. Apparently I fell asleep in like 7 minutes and then basically was like in a deep slumber for almost the entire night with a little bit of like, dozing? Was it like napping, dozing, sleeping? The thing that surprised me most about it is the fact that it doesn't work screen off. It has to be the screen on the entire time, but I'll get into that in a bit. Hello everyone, and I'm Fawnhallow. It's 1:24 PM on Saturday, August 19th, 2023. Yeah, it doesn't work with the screen off. What it does is you keep the screen on, but you turn it face down, and then it like dims the screen for you. And it said make sure you keep your phone charged for like, so you know you can actually like track it the entire time. And I was like, you know what? I'm experimenting. It's the first time I'm doing it. Let's see if my phone battery can last throughout the night, I suppose, by doing it. So I turn my like location settings off. You might like, why your location settings on? I just keep it on most of the time. Want to use a navigation, that sort of thing. So I did that, and then I just like put it down. It does dim the screen basically as low as it can go, while it's tracking, I suppose, your sleeping patterns, and it seems kind of cool. I'm gonna give it a shot for like the next week or so. We'll see how it goes. Of course, the concern is definitely your battery life, because my battery did last throughout the entire night. I think it drained like 60% of it or something. Because I didn't have 100% before I went to bed. I think I had around 80 or something. And when I woke up and it was about on 20%, so I was like, okay, now I need to go like plug in a charger and actually charge my phone, otherwise it's probably going to die. What's interesting was a sense of gamification behind it, which I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure I'm going to engage with the gamification. I'm just going to engage with the collectathon side of things. Because like, Pokemon have like natures, and then it's just like, I don't know, they like increase, decrease stats, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do this. It feels weird, I suppose, like playing a game immediately before bed and playing a game immediately as you wake up, like as a, well, I'm not going to say it's necessarily weird, but more so there's like, that doesn't seem like a thing which should be encouraged by the game, if that makes sense. So basically, I'm just going to use it to track my sleep, and then, you know, collect some Pokemon here and there. That's basically all I'm really planning on doing. I'm not really gonna intend to do any more of it, I think. But it is interesting. There's some interesting things about it. One of the things is I would have thought it'd be like an idle game, not like a musical idol, but like an idol as in standing around sort of game, where it's basically like, oh, you slowly accrue Pokemon, you know, like Cookie Clicker, and then they'll like slowly accrue points, I suppose, like that, and then as you sleep you get like big boosts or things like that. It's not really, it's kind of like that, like kind of like those old mobile games which, you know, are just designed to pass time, and you come back to and you like click on all the buildings and go like poof poof poof, and all these like coins pop off and what have you. It's kind of like that, I suppose, but with Pokemon and berries instead. But the weirdest thing is the fact that you change. But basically, what it centers around for Pokemon Sleep, as I can tell, is it centers around the Snorlax, which, you know, eventually gets like powered up or something, like how, depending on how good your sleep is. But the weird thing is, you change your Snorlax every week, which seems a bit strange. I would have thought Pokemon, or most these sort of games, at least what would appeal to me more was the sense of accruing a lot of things over time. The fact that Pokemon with Snorlax resets every single week is strange, I suppose. I mean, like the counter can reset, but you know, there's like a sense of personal attachment with Pokemon, which is, you know, something which is very much puppeted, where it's like perpetuated, there we go, by the media franchise itself. What was that? That's Project Sekai telling me an event was over. Okay. Yeah, it's very much propelled by the media franchise itself, being like, oh, you know, make a special bond with your Pokemon. I know they're like, going to be like your best bud for your Pokemon adventures, and the fact that it's not like the central component, I suppose, in Pokemon Sleep gets switched out is strange. But again, I've only used it for 1 day, so it's not really there for me to judge. It seems kind of cool, though. It's interesting, like what goes on, you know. One of the things they do, which certainly made me sort of like eye it with a bit of suspicion, is the fact that it uses your microphone to like record you. And you might be like, what? Privacy laws? And it's like, it's not quite like that. What apparently it does is it records, it just like, it doesn't start recording until it hears like a loud sound. I guess it's probably to know if you have like sleep apnea or if you like sleep talk or something. So only if there's like a loud enough noise, I suppose, during your sleep would it like record, and then it deletes it like the next time you like open the next time you have like another sleep session, or the next time you open the app after like a day or something. So it doesn't keep records, but you know, data like that is a sort of, well, I mean, to be fair, I was gonna be like data shifty not actually deleted, but you know, I think due to regulatory laws, they probably do have to delete that. I'd assume. But I mean, that's kind of interesting. Like, I'm not gonna hate on Pokemon Sleep, you know, even if I'm going to assume slightly worse than like a regular sleep tracking app or whatever has less features. What they're doing is they're making these things these healthy lifestyle choices, I suppose, more appealing to a broader range of people. You know, it's like I mean, it's kind of like with Pokemon Go, I suppose. It's like, oh, you know, obviously, you know, you're meant to go out and walking and stuff, but you know, people, you know, we're humans. We are fickle creatures who sometimes need motivation to go do things, or like a reason. And then by gamifying it, I suppose, in the first place, it gives you a sort of reason. It gives you like an incentive. And the fact that Pokemon is such a behemoth, a leviathan of a franchise in the first place, it's sort of like even more incentive, being like, oh, you're more like likely to check it out, because I think Pokemon's very popular, isn't it? Especially with kids, which is why Pokemon's probably delving into these sort of things. Like, there's a Pokemon toothbrushing app, right? And there's Pokemon Sleep. I assume these are all meant to be just be like things for family-friendly things, which, you know, can be targeted at kids, can be targeted at adults, who really knows, as simple ways to encourage you to build healthy habits. And you know what, I can't hate on that. That's a fantastic thing. I mean, I wasn't going to hate on it, mind you, but it's just like I don't know, I guess it's kind of interesting. I mean, I can open it up now. I'll see what it's like. I mean, I can tell you my my report. Pokemon Company. I will say there's a lot of loading screens of game, which, you know, it feels like a Nintendo classic. Well, it's quite like a lot of games classic, but really the thing I think that annoys me most about using these sort of things is when there's like loading screens between menus, or like lots of them, because Pokemon Sleep really feels like it should be a very lightweight app. Not necessarily by its content, but like in concept, right? It should be something where you like pop it open and it like immediately opens, like half a second, boom, done. It's obviously not quite like that, but that's how I feel like it should be, because it's like when you're going to bed, you're tired, you're like, you don't want to do anything particularly strenuous, right? At least that's how I think about things. Apparently I could feed my Snorlax lunch, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna bother with. How do I see my previous sleeps? I mean, I see my Pokemon. I got a Pikachu that you start off with, who I named Axel, and I got a Squirtle I named Miso. Basically, I was thinking, like, because I know one of my friends, they downloaded the thing, and they've basically named all their Pokemon after like sleep-related terms, or like dream-related terms, which is like very impressive. But I was like, I don't know how long I'm sticking with this. So I was just like, okay, what's the first name which pops into my mind, and then that's just what I name them like. Okay, hold on, sleep data. Here we go. This one, I'm a slumbering type. 5 hours 56 minutes of sleep last night, from 2 a.m. to about 8 a.m. I had this is the craziest part, because I don't actually know what the graph should be like, but I have 1% dozing, 19% snoozing, and 80% slumbering. So it's like I'm a heavy sleeper, so this doesn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. But it's just a very funny graph, because it immediately drops off. Time to fall asleep 7 minutes, dozing time 5 minutes. It's like I'm immediately asleep, just in a deep slumber, and then a little bit of a snooze in the middle, and then a deep slumber again, and then a little bit of snooze in the end. And then I wake up towards the end. It's just like very funny. There's a Marowak, a Bonsly, a Spheal, and a Pichu, which came by to sleep. I think it's just kind of cute, to be honest. There was also one recording, but I listened to the recording. It was like, you can't hear anything. I think it's just like me turning and like hitting my arm on the bed or something, because you just hear like a soft thump, and that's literally it. Oh, it was right near the beginning. Apologies about a little bit of a pause. I don't remember what I was going to say about Pokemon Sleep. Yeah, and the tutorial was like surprisingly long. You know, it's certainly a lot more involved an app than I expected. Which I guess is kind of the trade-off of it being, I suppose, gamified in the first place. Is the fact that you need actually these game systems, and it's probably a delicate balancing like, this is a game which is not meant to be that heavy or something, but it can't just be a sleep track app on its own. It's got to have something a little more to really like draw people in, right? Otherwise, it's just a sleep track app with a Pokemon skin. Another quick pause. I don't know. Pokemon Sleep. I don't really know what to say. Perhaps it's a bit too early to talk about it, but sleep tracking, these sort of things. I'm surprised how deeply I sleep. Like, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be that surprised because I know I'm a pretty deep sleeper in the first place, but it's like really deep. Like, I want to see. Hold on. Pokemon Sleep graph. Like, what does that? What does an actual graph look like? Like an average one. Sleep cycle data versus Pokemon Sleep. Like, this person's up and about all the time. I'm just in a deep slumber the entire time. Like, no one else is in a deep slumber the entire time. What's going on? I haven't really thought about it. So, like, I mean, I guess it's nice. We're much more scientific. What am I doing? I'm trying to customize, but I probably want to also get rid of these. I think it's kind of cool from like a data collection point of view, being like, oh, this is like empirical evidence, darling, that you sleep like a rock, quite literally. Just like nothing could ever stir you, which is not true, probably. Well, I don't know. I've not had an experience where actually, no, that's not true. I was going to be like, I've not had an experience where I've slept through something, I think, particularly deeply, or at least I couldn't think of one. But I think this did actually happen when I was much, much younger. There was like a mini earthquake in the UK or something, and I slept through that. It wasn't like a particularly high on the Richter scale. I think it was like a 3 or something on the Richter scale, which is very small, bearing in mind the logarithmic nature of magnitude. But that's what I was going to do. I was going to customize coconuts as well. Not customize, I was going to craft coconuts. Do we even have coconuts? We have enough. Let's go. It's just interesting. A deep sleep, I'm trying to think of a time I've slept through something. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty sensitive to my alarm sound. But that's another thing which happened, is we have a own alarm system in Pokemon Sleep. But like I also have my own like natural alarms, I suppose, set by the clock as well. Or clock app. So in fact, when I woke up at 8 AM, there was just like 2 alarms going off simultaneously. I was like, what's going on? Because when you just wake up, I suppose your brain isn't really operating at full capacity, but there's a lot of muscle memory, I suppose, built in there. Because my brain was just like, oh, I'm very used to my alarm, which you might be like, what's your alarm? My alarm is Radio Happy from the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls series, and it's it's just like a fun, cheerful song to start of the morning, and it has like a very gradual start, so it makes a pretty good alarm sound. But then I can't remember what the Pokemon alarm went like, but it was like a series of beeps. It was not very relaxing, I must say. Pokemon Sleep, you gave me the impression that it was going to be like a relaxing, like bird call awakening or something, but it really was. It was not harsher than I expected. So having that on top of like my natural alarm, in fact, it doesn't like fade in or anything. It's just like immediately blaring. I was just like, what is going on? Not like a shot of panic or anything, but well, maybe like a mini panic, being just like, where am I? What's existing? What's even going on? But if anything, I'm kind of more impressed that my phone battery lasted throughout the night with its screen on. It feels very weird that you can't have your screen off. It has to be on, but just like dimmed by the app, which is like, I mean, I don't know what else you can do like that. There's also in the morning, when you're using it, the screen forcibly is on low light, which is okay. Like, I understand the concept of it, but the thing is, the low light is so low, it's actually like I'm straining my eyes to actually see what's going on the phone anymore. So I was just like, I can't tell what's going on. And I tried turning it up, and it just like didn't work. And I was like, what's going on? And then I realized, oh, it's probably dimming the actual screen itself. And I was like, I don't know how I'm meant to, observe anything of this. I don't know how I'm meant to interface. I can't even read what it's saying properly. It genuinely, I think it hurt my eyes more looking at the dimmed screen than I'm just like, if it was slightly brighter, like, come on, it could be a little bit brighter. Or I guess I could have just like opened my curtains, but I didn't. Damn, my like, oh no, this person's also got quite a deep sleep as well. Let's see, Pokemon slumbering types. No, Pokemon sleep types. Dozing, snoozing, slumbering. I've got all these different types of Pokemon as well. It's a weird thing about the gamification of this nature, is that like Pokemon is centered around the concept of gotta catch them all, right? And you can only get different Pokemon, I suppose, through different sleep types, right? Which makes it even more confusing, because it's like, how do I get the other Pokemon types? I had to sleep differently, which inherently is not something you can do. So I guess that's like one of the downside of the gamification, so rather than it being like a reward for doing what you're doing, it's now encouraging you to do something else, which is not something which is necessarily good or bad. Well, probably it's bad, isn't it? It's like, I mean, if you're a light sleeper trying to be a heavier sleeper, so you're not as easily disturbed in the night, it's probably good, but doing it the other way around seems strange. I don't really know how it works. Maybe you can get all Pokemon anyway, and it's just a likelihood, I suppose, I couldn't think of a word, of getting one over the other. Recommend trying to trigger a dozing sleep type during your second sleep of a day. What? Wait, to min-max Pokemon sleep, we're meant to have a second sleep. I guess like a nap or something. But 90 minutes is a long nap. That's not a sleep session. A second sleep of a day, this is literally what IGN is telling me. Huh. Let's see, just no minutes. Okay, you start talking about what is going on. Reasonably sound sleep. Slumbering. Hardest sleep types to achieve naturally, while sleeping deeply for at least 8 hours with almost no tossing and turning. Or any noises. Well, it wasn't 8 hours, but it was no tossing or turning. Rather than having your phone right beside your pillow when you sleep, you can leave it further away from your bed. I see. So we are cheating the system, I suppose, by subverting the tracking expectations of this app to get the other things. Which it feels like it shouldn't be like that, right? Oh, you can have balanced sleep. Sleep soundly while still tossing and making a little noise, but not too much. What? It just seems strange. Anyway, I'm going to round this episode off here, I think. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Nam Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see you again with now. It's our farewell. So until next time. Bye-bye for now. Deep sleep. I'm a slumbering person.